Good morning. Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing today? It is, so much happened yesterday. Nikki Giovanni made her transition. Oh, rest her soul, Nikki Giovanni. When I tell you Nikki Giovanni I grew up in a household where we spent a lot of time in church, and my grandmother was like the lady of the church, and she used to create women's days programs, and she often had me read poetry by Nikki Giovanni or Paul Laurence Dunbar. And so that my childhood that was a place where I felt, good morning, where I felt anchored, like in Black poets. Black literature was a very real part of my childhood experience, and it saved me. It really did, because there was so much chaos going on in my life. For me to be able to have inspiration from Black people who could communicate their feelings, who could communicate their inspiration and their dreams and their godhood, was monumental for me, and many Black women. For those of you who are Generation Xers, like even maybe earlier and then later, it was a our to our creative process, to our evolution and our growth. So today we have Mercury retrograde at the 8th degree of Sagittarius. This degree is ruled by Scorpio and Pluto. So today is literally a day, if you know that Bible verse that says, "Be thee transformed by the renewing of your mind." Mercury is the mind and Pluto is transformation. So today, and the moon is in Aries today. The retrograde, Mercury turns direct on Sunday, and and so we now have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm sorry, you guys. Hold on. My cat is having a fit. Hold on, my aunt. Hold on, you all. Let me just get my cat. All right. Sorry about that. I let them outside in the morning time, and she was scratching to get in like somebody was out to get her. But one time I let them out, and there were some coyotes outside. And I live in the middle of Los Angeles. Like, I live in the city for real. And so I was like, what are coyotes doing here? So anyway, but like I was saying, back to what I was saying, Mercury is retrograde at the 8th degree. Now, here's the thing that I keep wanting to reiterate. Mercury is our mind, and Sagittarius is about faith and wisdom and expansion and blessings and travel, like, and global identity. And you want to the transformation of the mind. For me, maybe for you all it's easy. I also have a lot of Mercury energy. So my mental patterns have been very deeply buried. I'm entrenched. I have been very entrenched in the ways that I use my mind, the ways that I think. So transforming my mind has been a very intense, consistent, deliberate, intentional, like, what else can I say? It has been a great effort for me. And I am grateful for that. I understand the reason it is that way is so that I can actually support others. Like, I have gotten so in the details of my own experience that I can hear other people, even when they're not saying what they think they're saying, I can hear what they're really saying, because I have pulled back the layers so much in my own psyche that I am revealing new aspects of myself that allow me to hear people, like the other day I was getting I was buying some cat food, and I was at the counter purchasing the cat food, but I could smell cigarettes and we're in a pet store. So sometimes I smell things because there are invisible forces in place. Like, I might smell cologne. I might smell, something like an ancestor. And I'm like, oh, I'm tapping into another dimension. So to this day, when I could smell the cigarettes, I was like, this is either my mother or the person who's ringing me up smokes cigarettes. So I just asked him, do you smoke? And he was like, yeah, I just had a cigarette. But so I was grateful to know, like, oh, it was him. But I've gotten that keen with things. Like, even if I can't see something, I can perceive it beyond my eyes. And this has been the process of transforming my mind. Understanding that one time I was in a gas station. This is when I used to drive a lot. And the gas station was on a hill. So I was like this, and I was going into the gas station, but there were people in front of me, so I had to stop. And when I went to get started again, I rolled back a little bit and hit a car behind me. Now, I had turned around to make sure that there was not a car behind me. I couldn't see it. Like, the hill was that deep that I couldn't see the car behind me. And when I rolled back, I hit a car. And when I tapped in, the spirit inside of me said, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And I was like, okay, like, this is the transformation of the mind. Getting your mind in a new way of perceiving reality and understanding that reality is malleable, that reality is not fixed, that we live in a system that is a blank page. The things that we see with our eyes are the end of it. Like, that's not the onset of it. It's not the beginning of it. And giving ourselves permission to perceive giving yourself permission to be different, giving yourself permission. And for myself, there have been times when I have felt like I'm losing my mind. I'm going crazy. And I have been holding, because I've been in this space of not wanting to go, thinking I'm going to go crazy. Like, I have visions of seeing people. I'm just being really transparent here. Walking, seeing people. I'm driving down the street and I see people who are clearly in conversations with something that I cannot see, but they also have the appearance of being, not having been clean or not. So I've had this internal thing of like, what is actually happening, and having to do meditations and fasting and rituals and spending time in nature to free myself from old thought forms, from limiting thought forms, and those limiting thought forms have been things like, it's not safe to be Black in the world. Like, that's a limited thought form. It's not safe to be here. I'm always under attack. I'm always under threat. Somebody's always out to get me. Clearing my mind of the external enemy, like really beginning to imbibe myself in the belief that everything is for me, nothing is against me, all things are serving me, I am loved wherever I go. Like a deep, deep cleaning of the consciousness. Some other thoughts that I have had to transform in my life is that I need a man in order to be happy, that I'm not happy without a romantic connection, that my life used to be very rooted and anchored in this idea that love, romantic love, was going to be the thing that saved me. And it just never did. It never, I don't want to say it just never saved me. My perception of it was completely inaccurate. Let me just say it that way. So I had to do the work to clean my mind of that, to extract those belief systems, thoughts, karmic patterns that had me in the trajectory of always looking outside of me for a sense of love and safety and companionship, not able to hold myself, love myself. And now I've gotten to this place that is so profound, you all. It is amazing. Like, I've gotten to a place where I can be completely with myself, standing for myself with myself, no matter what's going on externally, which is what I have always wanted. I have always wanted to know that I got myself. I don't self-abandon any longer. I don't reject myself any longer. I honor all of my feelings, all of my inclinations. I'm with myself. I have done the inner child work. I'm still doing the work. The work is never done, but it's not at the same level and frequency that it had been before now. So, Mercury at the 8th degree, transform your mind. What are the stories you're telling yourself about your experiences? And can you access another perspective? What's your story of your mother? Can you tell a new story about your mother? What's your story of your father? Can you tell a new story of your father? What's your story about your body? Can you tell a new story about your body? I remember when I started graying when I was like 23 years old, you guys. And then it started to get really more gray when I got to be about 29. And a young man that I was seeing had a brother who said to him, "Oh, Monique looks really young, but she has that gray hair." And I started dyeing my hair. I started dyeing my hair based upon somebody else's perception of me. And I remember when I was in my 40s and I realized, like, I can't keep this up because I have gray at the roots. Like, if I dyed it on one day, 2 days later, it was white again. So I literally was like, I'm chasing galloping horses with this gray hair. Like, I cannot keep this up. And so it was like, how do I let it go? And it was interesting because my friends, like my girlfriends, were like, you shouldn't do that. You know, one of them was like, you're making us all look old. You're aging everybody. Like, it was a really interesting thing, but it was all this external pressure to continue to mask myself by dyeing my hair, by pretending like I was something that I wasn't. And this is transforming the mind, like really understanding where we are anchored into belief systems that are not our own, that we're sourcing from some sort of external idea. So today, the moon is in Aries. We're going to have a long void today. A void moon, this is really powerful in Aries. A void moon is when people are much more internal. And when the moon is in Aries, it's about the self. So today with Mercury retrograde, you have an opportunity, especially later in the day and into tomorrow morning and late this evening, to do a ritual practice that brings you to a deeper acceptance of yourself. And because it's Aries, it's something that should scare you. You should be a little bit afraid of, like, when we're growing, when we're becoming something new, a little bit of tension is helpful because then you know you're getting out of your comfort zone. You got to get out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is the enemy. Your comfort zone is the enemy. So today, do something that takes you out of your comfort zone. You should feel scared. You should feel resistant. You should feel like, I don't want to do this shit. And it's so interesting. I have a client of mine that I have been working with for a while, and they are very sensitive. They are very sensitive. They are very sensitive. And I have been coaching them into expanding their sensitivities. Like, because we're so sensitive. Some of us are so sensitive that we're just protecting ourselves. We don't want to do anything that's hard. We don't want to do anything that's uncomfortable. But you can't grow without pain. I promise you. I'm a Pisces rising, and so my sensitivity is off the hook, and I am often in protection mode just because I can feel and see and I just am like, you know what I mean? Like, walking around like this, walking around with your arms crossed, or just very protective, right? And this one client, I just would gently like, okay, well, try this and try something hard. Try something that doesn't hurt, but something that's going to take you out of your comfort zone, And so at one point I invited her, stop ordering out. Don't order out. Cook every meal. That doesn't hurt you, but it's going to take you out of your comfort zone because it's going to help you to build another muscle. And gently, as she began to do that and it felt okay for her, then I was able to invite her into another experience where pain was involved, but she could see the benefit of it. And now she is just flourishing. She has let down her guard. She's not, she's not holding herself in the way that she had been. And she is able to endure small amounts of discomfort, which can show up as pain. That can be taking a cold shower. That can be, like I do foot massages. I stand on that hard football. Let me see if I can, hold on a second. Like this little thing right here, it's very hard. Like you can't, right? And I put it under my feet and and it hurts. And it literally is a way to open up my sensitivities so that I can receive more. See, many of us have capped out and we are not receptive. And sometimes you have to break the old container for a new one to form. And it hurts. It just hurts. This is why athletes are so successful, because they move into pain. They are not resistant to pain. You cannot resist pain. But it can be calculated pain. It can be intentional pain. It doesn't have to be something. And when you don't do it intentionally, when you don't do it for yourself, the universe will come and fuck you up. Because you can't avoid things. That's just how it works, right? So the more you're willing to get uncomfortable, to allow your comfort zone to free you and let you go, the more you are willing to die to the old and be born to the new, the more you transform yourself and transform your mind and transform your life. The thing is, it's like I've been doing this work for years, all my life, since I can remember. And I used to study religious science, and this is a religion that was sort of created by a man called Ernest Holmes. And he would say, change your mind, change your life. And it wasn't easy for me to change my mind, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I have not had it easy, but I have done it though. And it has taken the time that it has taken, but I get it now. And now I can teach other people how to do it. Get out of your comfort zone. Walk into pain. Invite pain. Sit in pain. Get uncomfortable. Love it. Like now when I'm uncomfortable, I'm like, ooh. And I have had to do it in so many ways. I have done it in ways around my body. I've done it in a multitude of ways. I have gotten out of my comfort zone. One of the things that I used to do, and this might sound sadistic, but it is what it is. I used to have this partner who I just never, like, people always talk about narcissists, and I would guess maybe he's a narcissist. I don't know. I don't have those labels. But I never felt comfortable in the relationship. I never felt like I could believe what he was saying. I never felt anything except when we were together, I was always having a good time. When we were together, when we were on the phone, when we were together, like right now, I feel myself getting like, because when I was with him, I felt so much bliss. But I always knew that it was short-lived. That's what I'll say. I always knew that it was short-lived. And I would be afraid. And so I started a practice of imagining him with another partner in bed. I started a practice of imagining him having sex with someone else so that I could face it. It's almost like I knew, I don't know if I created it or if I knew it was coming. I probably created it, but so that I could face it, so that I was preparing myself for the inevitable heartbreak that I knew was coming. I was taking a little bit of poison every day so that when the blow came, I wasn't shocked. And sure enough, one day he came and he was like, I'm seeing somebody else. And I was like, okay. And it didn't break me. It didn't misalign me. It actually, I had already done the work. Like I said, I had already taken a little bit of poison every day up until that experience that really allowed me to be with that. And ultimately, his behavior stopped triggering me. Like, I just got to the point where I actually didn't care. It was like, okay, like, do you? Like, okay. Like, I became indifferent to his behavior. That also meant that when we were together, I didn't have that deep elation and that deep bliss anymore either, because I had neutralized all that energy. And that was that. So the same for all of us. We must give ourselves the capacity to have the strength to endure uncomfortable things, whether that be emotionally, spiritually, physically, however. You must endure, and you must transform your mind to do it. You must give yourself, in your mind, you must give yourself the belief that this is serving me. This is exactly what I need. This experience of discomfort or pain is going to get me where I want to be. And most of us are looking for pleasure. We're looking for comfort, and comfort is a part of it. Comfort is a part of your experience, but it is not the end all be all. And whether I like it or not, my whole life has been a life of, up till now, has been a life of tragedy, death, destruction. And so I have had to learn how to hold polarities. I have had to learn how to hold oppositions, and that has helped transform my mind. As a Capricorn, I'm into discomfort. Yeah. I'm into discomfort practices. I've been avoiding it. Yeah, you gotta, and especially as a Capricorn, what do you mean, girl? I don't know if you're a girl or not, Tazzy Mount Paris. Maybe you are a girl, or man, it doesn't matter. I don't want to. Capricorns have the greatest capacity to endure out of any of the signs. You guys are the masters of endurance. That's why they call y'all the GOAT. You guys, nothing will stop you. She said, I'm totally a lady. Okay. So I would imagine that your moon, there's something else going on in your chart that has you very sensitive. There's something else. It's not the Capricorn. There's something else. Maybe you got a Pisces moon, Cancer moon, something's going on. It's not, because Capricorn, if you want somebody for the long haul to endure, who gonna get it done and get it done right and make it look good, that's the Capricorn. You guys are averse to pain. So there's something else in your chart. There's something else that has you sensitive. And I would encourage you to go figure out what that is so that you can do the rituals around it Scorpio, right? Oh, yes, the Aries moon. It's the Aries moon. The Aries moon has you sensitive. Aries, you scary. Aries, you're so scary. It's the scary baby. I have a lot of Aries placements, and the sensitivity is real because Aries is the baby, and you can't really defend yourself energetically. You know, Aries is the infant of the zodiac, so there's no defense. Like, so you have to toughen up. Like, so when I'm working on Aries stuff, I go do things like take a boxing class. I do things that, because I do things that help me get courageous. You know what I mean? I do things that make me be like, rah, rah, rah. You know, I get ridiculous because that's the Aries energy. It's like, rah, you know, but nobody knows it's doing it scared. Nobody knows that Aries, like, people give Aries such a hard time. They don't understand that Aries are sensitive and they are scared. But they can't, they have to do it. If they don't learn how to fight and protect themselves and show up, nobody else will. So they have to do it. So just toughen yourself up, okay? Toughen yourself up. Like I told you, I use the football, this thing, anything. Toughen yourself up. Cold water, baths, make yourself tough. And it will change your life. It'll change your life if you don't allow yourself to be a scaly baby. Anyway. All right, you all. A few more days of Mercury retrograde, and then we have 3 weeks of shadow where we go back. So pay attention to the themes of your life right now. Pay attention. And then it's in Sagittarius. Go see where Sagittarius is in your chart. See what Sagittarius is doing in your life so that you understand what area of your life is under construction right now. That will really help you. If you go see where is Sagittarius in your chart. You know, if it's in the first house, then your identity is being shifted. If it's in your second house, then your value system and your money is being shifted. If it's in your third house, your mind is being shifted. If it's in your fourth house, your home environment. If it's in your fifth house, your creative power. If it's in your sixth house, your body and health. If it's in your seventh house, partnerships, how you show up into partnerships in this world. In your eighth house, it's deep transformation, family stuff, other people's money. It's like family, legacy, heritage. Your ninth house, that's the house that's ruled by Sag. That's your beliefs, how you connect to the divine. Your 10th house, it's your career and how you show up in the world, how people see you. And if it's in your 11th house, it's friends and community. And then your 12th house is your subconscious and mental health. So if you understand that, then you can do things, right? Like, so if it was in your fourth house, you can do things every day, like clean your house or rearrange your furniture, you know, something, or shift your closet, something like that. If it's in your fourth house, like, these are rituals that will help honor the energy of the house. If it's in your first house, you might decide to change your style, cut your hair, dye your hair, like do something that really shifts your sense of identity. If it's in your ninth house, you might start a spiritual practice, you know, so that you can actually become more connected to your own sense of divinity. If it's in your second house, you might start a plan around like shifting your value and your money, things like that. Oh, you guys are sharing so much. So it's really an opportunity to use this energy, and you don't get this energy often. So use it. Yeah, that's so funny, you know, organized chaos. Where our identity is always shifting. And at 40, you're just getting started. We don't even really mature until we're 50. We just happen to be in this Western world that has us thinking, that has us fetishizing youth. So at 40 is when you kind of start figuring something out, you know, really. And all for me, I just started asking, who am I? I just asked, who am I every day, 17,000 times a day for years. Who am I? who am I? Who am I? If I was driving, I'd be going, who am I? And then I would think, and what am I capable of? Who am I and what am I capable of? And where am I? They told me this is Earth. I don't know where this is. I don't really how do I know this is Earth? I don't. I really don't. I know what I've been told. I know I was given this name. But what's really happening inside of me? Who am I for real? Like, these kinds of questions really helped me get to the gist of the core of where I am now. I literally just cleaned my, yes. I'm a Gemini male with a Leo rising and an Aquarius moon. Okay, Gemini male, come book a session. Come book a session and we can sit down and have a conversation. Wait till I get my check, Moon Mama. Oh, that would be great. I would love that. It's always my joy to support you all. And I would love that. I would love to sit with you guys. Like, I can only do so much online, like, because your chart isn't in front of me. Like, I actually need your chart. I need your whole chart. And I need time to study it. And when I have time to study it, then it speaks to me. Like, the chart actually rises up and speaks to me. People's ancestors come and talk to me. So what I'm saying here is just the general stuff. If you want a real experience, invite yourself into my space in a new way. So send your chart to me go register like at Heal with Moon Mama, healwithmoonmama.com. Go register for a natal chart reading. The natal chart readings are $185. And we spend an hour and a half together going through your chart, and I will give you everything that I can in that hour and a half. If Lilith is in Sagittarius and in the 8th house, what should I do? Oh, that's really powerful. I don't know if it's impacted by anything else, but just on its own. Lilith is your deepest, purest desire. Lilith is the feminine. So if you're a woman, that's powerful. If you're a man, that's challenging because men often have a really hard time accessing deep feminine energy unless they're gay. And I don't have I don't care about that kind of stuff, right? Gay is an expression of the divine. I don't care, So unless men are gay, they often have a hard time accessing deep feminine energy unless they are doing rituals and practices to help them do it, or if they are aligned with women who are supporting them. So Lilith says, what is it that you really, really, really want? And it's a deep, deep, deep sense of desire. It's your deepest desires. It's often your subconscious desires. So Lilith in the 8th house in Sagittarius really wants to have a lot of sex with a lot of people. That is the way it can express in the lower frequencies as a desire for a lot of sex, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have anything on it. But sex is a desire to create. That's what ultimately, when we're desiring sex, what we really want is we really desire to create. And Sagittarius says, I want to be connected to God. So this is a person who would use their sexuality as a way to connect to divinity, as a way to honor the divine within them. So that's how I say about that. How do you feel about that? That was the question. All right, you all. I love y'all so much. I'm going to get going, and I encourage you to have a really beautiful day and use this Mercury retrograde energy in your favor. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I go, today is a Mars day, and Mars is in Leo, and Mars is now retrograde and will be retrograde until February. So that's important. I'm not going to do a whole thing on that, because it's such a long period of time. But Mars retrograde is very significant because Mars is your will, your willpower. Mars is your willpower. And this is an opportunity for us to transform our relationship with our willpower. She said, I want to have sex with everybody all the time, but I'm learning tantra. Yes. Yeah, so you have to learn to harness that energy in a new way. That's right. I get it. It's okay. It's okay. Don't judge yourself. Sexual energy is powerful energy. Women or people who have a lot of sexual energy really are closer to the divine. We just live in a culture that has had us harness it in shadowy ways because people don't understand. So it just gets used in this way that is just about sex and not about healing and not about transformation and not about, loving it's really, we've just dumbed it down so much. And this is my last story. I love TikTok. I'm gonna tell you, I love TikTok and I love animal videos, and I have fallen in love with horses. And I've watched these people that train horses and have all that sort of stuff. And one of the things that I saw the other day just blew me away. They were training this horse, and the horse, horses are bucking, right? They connected the horse with a rope, like a rope that was like 3 yards long, maybe 6 yards long, I don't know, to a mule. And a mule is a mix between a donkey and a horse. And mules are very strong. So they connected the horse to the mule. So the horse is doing all this bucking, all this, and the mule just doesn't move. And then the horse wears itself out. And this is how they break a horse. And so it's not different for your sexual energy. Your sexual energy is wild and, like a water hose. But you have to contain it. You have to, and, Christianity and all of these religions have attempted to give people tools, ideas of containing their sexual energy, but they do it through shame. They do it through shaming you and guilting you. And that is not the way that you are going to heal your sexual energy. You're going to heal your sexual energy through loving yourself, through finding greater purpose, through understanding that you have a reason and a purpose for being that is beyond the basic lower level chakra experiences. It's the difference in eating because you're hungry and or using food for medicine. Do you eat just because your body's like, I'm hungry, I gotta eat? Or do you eat because your body, the food is actually medicine and you're gonna use it as a healing tool? The same for sex. Are you gonna just use it because it's there saying, I gotta have it or I want it? Or are you gonna use it for something that is actually direct? And that is your choice. You get to decide how you're gonna use it. I have been celibate for maybe a year or so, and I have been using my sexual energy to heal myself, to help me transform my mind, to harness my power. And I'm not sharing it with another person, because when I share my energy with someone else, I'm also then doing their work too, because that is the nature of being a woman. When we take someone into our body, we take their essence, their family, and if you're a healer, you're going to be healing all of those energies. So I wanted to give myself a break and was like, I don't want to do nothing but focus on me. And so I have been using my sexual energy exclusively for myself, and it has been amazing. So with that, y'all, I'm done. I love y'all. And for those of you who want to come book sessions, I will see you soon. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.